This video is not meant to go viral. It's not meant to go everywhere to capture the attention of everyone. All it's meant for is for whoever's meant to hear this will hear it. My name is Bradley, and this is my testimony. I'm a Christian, and this is a story of how God didn't let me go. I wrote it down on paper. Never done that before, never really put it to pen to paper, but I'm glad that I did. It allowed things to become a lot more clear. So I've gone to Sunday school, teen worship, normal sermon services. I even served in church for a while. Church was called St. Michael's. So I'm quite familiar with who this Jesus guy is. But I had doubts. I would pray sometimes. I would read the Bible sometimes, but it never really did anything for me. But obviously I didn't know that God was working in the background. Either I didn't see it, or maybe I didn't want to see it. My true journey started in January of 2020. I was at home for the holidays. I was studying at university, and I just finished watching Dante's Inferno. Pretty intense show for a cartoon. And I was bored. And I decided, let me go down to the park, sit under a tree, grab a book and read. But now I wasn't really into reading at the time, so I don't know where this thought came from. But I didn't want to commit to a book, because like I said, I don't really read. Not at that time. And so I thought, let me just grab my Bible. I can read a couple verses, I don't have to commit, enjoy the peace and quiet, come home. It's nothing I hadn't done plenty of times before. So I grabbed my Bible, I went down to the park, and I sat under a tree, and I opened my Bible. It was this Bible, to be exact. Good News Bible. Got it in 2013. And I opened to Peter. I don't know why. Something just said to me, read a verse in Peter. That's pretty funny, actually, in hindsight now, but I'll explain that in a different video. But I opened to Peter, I read a few verses, and lo and behold, nothing happened. Nothing at all. And I didn't think anything of it. I closed the Bible, put it down next to me, and I just sat enjoying the peace and quiet of the park. And then in the corner of my eye, I saw a butterfly, white butterfly. Then another one, and another one. And before I knew it, there were hundreds, maybe thousands of butterflies just flying across my point of view, just a few meters away from me. It was beautiful to witness. And something just said to me, what does this mean? So I took out my phone and I Googled it, and I found a few meanings. And then there was one that caught my attention. It was, what do white butterflies mean in the Christian religion? So I was like, I'm Christian. Let me give it a look. And I looked, and it said a white butterfly symbolizes prayers being answered. Now that's not in the Bible. That's not in the Bible, but in that moment it didn't matter. Because as soon as I read that, it was almost as if something inside of me was saying, as I looked at these hundreds of butterflies, something inside of me was saying, these are all of your prayers, past, present, and future, that have all been answered. And I tell you, like that, every shred of doubt that I ever had that God was not real disappeared. It was gone. With every shred in me, I believed that God was real. And all of my doubt was gone. And then you know what I did after that? Nothing. For the next 4 years, I carried on doing what I had done prior. Pray here, read the Bible there, go to church when I want to. And it was actually this year, 2025, when my real relationship with God actually started. And the way it started was actually transactional. You know, I said to God, so for context, for a little over a decade, I struggled with a porn addiction. And I tried to stop for years, and I just failed every time. And it was in late 2024 when I got the strength to be able to walk away from that. And it was only really early 2025 when things started getting really rough. And I could see the toll my addiction had taken on my relationship with my girlfriend at the time. We had been dating for a little over a year at that time. And I'm not going to go into detail about that because it's very personal to us. But I just want to say this is the most incredible woman I have ever come across in my life. She has stuck by me and not given up on me. Truly the biggest blessing I'd ever received in my life. But anyway, it was transactional, like I said. I said to God, I will devote myself to you. Read the Bible, pray, give my life to you. If you will just take away the pain and suffering that this has caused me, my girlfriend, in this relationship. I literally said to God, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. How crazy is that? And do you know what God did? Do you know how He responded? Fire, judgment, condemning me. None of that. He responded with grace. With grace. And little bit by little bit, He was nudging me. I used to love watching horror movies. All of a sudden, I found myself not being able to make it through a horror movie. Then I found myself not even wanting to watch a horror movie. Started listening to gospel music more. Started reading the Bible more. Started praying more. And then before I even knew it, my YouTube was filled with Christian content, podcasts, sermons, Bible verses. My Spotify had nothing on it besides gospel music. I was reading the Bible almost every day. I was praying, and I mean really praying multiple times a day. God was working in my life so much that one day my girlfriend and I were sitting on the couch, and I said to her, now bear in mind, this was at a time where she didn't even believe that God existed. I said to her, will you pray with me? Something just said to me, say it, ask her. And she nodded. And I was amazed. I was like, oh my goodness. That's crazy. And we started praying together, and now we go to the same church together. We even are part of a life group where every Wednesday her and I meet up with a few other people at the church. We read the Bible and we talk about God. I am now at a point where I own not one, not two, but 3 Bibles. These 2 are mine. This one is actually my girlfriend's that I need to give back to her. It's my old Bible that I gave to her. Not only do I own 3 Bibles, but I also actively read from not 1, not 2, but 3 devotionals. 3 seems to be the common theme here. And a little verse book, 199 favorite Bible verses for me. I have an app on my phone where I read Bible verses and listen to devotionals almost every day. I have watched hundreds of hours of Christian content. I've got a notepad here filled with notes. And I'm not saying any of this so that anyone watching will sit and think, oh, look at him, he's bragging about how close he is to God. Not at all. I'm just saying I went from having doubts about God to believing him and doing nothing for many years to asking him to do me a favor, and then maybe I'll consider giving my life to him, to now all of a sudden doing all of this, to the point where I sit across from you today, and every single day I wake up, and instead of saying to God, how are you going to bless me today? I ask God, what can I do for you today? What can I do that will be your will? How can I perform your will today? I could talk for hours about my relationship with God, but all this video was meant to do was to talk about my testimony and my relationship with God up until now. Now I've gone so far as someone who's not a big fan of social media to now all of a sudden start a Christian YouTube channel. The Lord works in mysterious ways. For whoever watched this, the full video, who made it this far, I hope that something I said gave you even the tiniest bit of motivation to just pick one of these up. Just open it and just start reading. Because that's how it started for me. God bless.